the acoustics and like it was basically just like farting on like a large floor tom, you know, and it was just so loud. It was fucking outrageous.
Oh my God.
Like it was that type of thing where like I farted and it seemed like people were looking outside for like a car wreck. Like they weren't even thinking, like there's no way that sound came from the inside. Like what? Hello and welcome to Start the Beat with Sykes. My name is Sykes and this is my podcast. Before we get started, I just wanted to take a quick moment to thank everyone who checked out the last episode. If you're one of those people, if you are, thanks for coming back. Hope you enjoyed it. Yes. For those of you that are new to the show, feel free to make yourselves at home. And as always, there's beer and soda and homemade wine in a solo cup. Cheers, my friends. Let's take a little sip of this.
Hey.
Not too shabby.
No.
Right?
Not too shabby.
Pretty good.
Thanks.
Pretty good.
That'll sneak up on you too.
Neat. We'll see how this goes. I am joined today by three. How many people are in your fucking band? Like seven? Yeah. 3/7 of the Moat Rats. Make some noise for the internet, my friends. Woo!
Very nice.
Carly, James, and Brad of the Moat Rats.
Hello.
What's cooking, everyone? How we doing today?
Wonderful.
Good.
Thanks for being here, my mortal enemies. We're here to settle the score, right? No,
yes.
The beef has been squashed. All is good. But I'm happy you're here today. For those of you that don't know the Moat Rats, they are a musical band that do things with instruments in front of strangers and family and friends sometimes. Who wants to tell me a bit more about the band? A little more of a professional pitch.
All right. So
Tight.
2015, 16, we kind of started playing, just doing some cover gigs and that kind of stuff. And everybody, we had a large friend group. Everybody would all kind of hang out and it just started like, hey, you know what? We should do something with some music, and my dad's band was playing at the time and they were getting some gigs around the area and we just kind of started opening up for them. They would let us come and play, which is, it was cool because we were pretty much at that point just experimenting with whatever we
Sure.
covers.
An hour. And
What kind of music was your dad playing?
Like top 40 stuff of the whatever.
So cover stuff
too,
cool.
as well.
Yeah.
And it eventually got to the point where we got a good group of people and we said, hey, let's start writing some tunes and see where this can take us.
Yeah.
And that was about 2017, maybe.
I'd say, like end of 2016 into 17.
Yeah. So, I mean, been riding it since then and working hard and just trying to,
That's awesome that you all found each other because you have an unbelievably uncanny group of talented people in your band and it's fucking infuriating. No, you guys are really, really good.
A lot of us knew each other from high school. So we all pretty much, a lot of us went to Plum. James and Liam, our key player, are actually cousins. And then his twin sister, Haley, used to play bass for us. And so we all kind of actually started just being like from high school band. And they had a great band director, Jason Birch, who was like super into it and got all the kids really into it.
He inspired a lot of people to just make music with your friends and get together and just
that's awesome.
Give everybody, hey, this guy give this guy a keyboard, give this dude a horn, this guy a bass and whatever, and just
let it rip.
Let it rip. Like
that rules.
Yeah.
The world needs more people like that. What a gem.
Yeah, he's great. He comes up and sees us sometimes. He lives in West Virginia now, but it's always cool when he comes out and supports. And
I feel like West Virginia is probably just about as far as Plum is for most of the shows you're playing.
well, not so bad.
Yeah.
It's kind of in the boonies, but no, it was a good start for us. But we were definitely like little kids, like not really knowing what we were doing, and we were all just jamming and having fun. And then we realized we had like 11, 12 people in the band at one point, and we were just like, this is excessive. And we're like, we don't know what we're dealing with. Like, we can't handle this group. I mean, we're just like, let's scale down a little. I hate to say trim the fat, but it was just like, scale down.
Give it a haircut.
Clean them up a little bit. So we did that
too, because like we were all like younger too, and even when we started this in 2016, a lot of us were around 20, 21, 22, and we even got shit at different venues or places we'd be at because we had underage people there. We had
that's the worst.
Friends, friends that were still underage wanted to come see us. So A couple of the places that like we started out playing back then, it's just like, yeah, we don't play there anymore.
We were too rowdy for the
Yeah,
suburbs.
like-
We had to move to the city.
But now,
They
like, we're
accept
all-
us a little
We
more.
did have some awesome shows at the Universal Moose though in Penn Hills.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude.
We had some great shows.
Shout out to
I've
those
never
guys.
even
That
heard
was
of that
super
place.
fun.
That's
Oh, it's
you
a
wouldn't-
great
yeah,
place.
it's a
drive
moose.
right
There's,
past
like-
and not even know it's there.
Oh, that's rad.
We just played for the members and our family and friends and just got rowdy. And they
There's
had
a
like
bowling
a
alley
bowling
in the back
alley
of
in
it.
there.
It's awesome.
Yeah, so Yinzer, but like so true, just like what we love. So it's great.
It's so fascinating hearing about places like that where bands like you come from. There's dozens of them around the city, these places that people forget about. You know, there's so much
Yeah.
more to the local music scene than, you know, the Thunderbird or
Right.
Club Cafe or all these other bigger venues. There's all those smaller places that facilitate a lot of local talent.
For sure.
So like coming up in that scene and getting out of it, were there any bands that you played with like at places like that that don't play in Pittsburgh that just like exist in those markets?
Not really, because when we had shows like that, what we would do ourselves, we would call so many different friends that played. The whole night would be filled with, oh, this dude
okay.
grab a guitar, this person.
So like
you know,
you're setting
like-
up the show in these places.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I guess the question is like whenever you were starting out, it was like, well, we don't have access to like venues in Pittsburgh proper. So
Right.
fuck it. Let's
We
just
didn't
call
know
places
anybody,
till
yeah.
they let you do something.
And it was almost kind of like that place that we did that thing on August 24th at, because it was old school like that. You had the bar section, you know, with all the Yinzers there who have been living in that town for like, you know, 30, 40 years. And they're like, what the fuck's going on here? You know, and then,
Yeah.
but it's cool because it was like old school, and that way it had a stage and shit. And, you know, also I think when you play at older places like that, those people were from a generation where live music meant a lot to them. And I think even though the older people, they're kind of like, oh, this, it's loud, blah, blah. They actually, at the end of the day, they really like it because live music was, you know, they appreciate that in a way.
Yeah.
And I think that
More a
helped
part
us.
of their culture. For
Yeah,
sure.
you know,
And for those of you who don't know, August 24th, I think that's the date of it. We battled Sykes and the New Violence at the Versus Series for the Spread Love Army. It was a charity event and we kicked their butts.
Oh yeah, they definitely did. They kicked our asses. It's totally fine.
We came in hot. It's okay.
It was
Yeah.
fun.
But
That
it
we
was a
we
great
were
time.
down a member. We were handicapped.
Yeah, you were.
We were handicapped
I'll give you that.
as fuck. But I think it's really cool the aspect of being able to just call places, find places to play, and you definitely had a cool advantage in terms of you're not some. While you may be rowdy personally, your music's a little bit more accessible than say,
Yeah.
you know, the 20 somethings that have
Yeah,
their
sure,
little
sure.
their hardcore band that want to play a show at
Yeah.
the Universal Moose. You know, it's probably a little bit
tell you-
harder.
Like people would always come and be like, "Oh, you remind us of going to the Holiday House in Monroeville." Like whenever we were younger, like I guess that was a pretty big live venue place back in the day, and it's like where everybody in the area went to. And they're like, "There's not places like that out there anymore." So
Yeah.
it's nice for them to get a little bit of that, you know, at their local watering hole. You know,
Yeah.
where they can go
It's a big part of what we try to do
Yeah.
too, is like be really, you know, I think we want to make our sound appealing to everyone. And I think because we all grew up with parents that were so passionate about music and like really like my dad was an old like radio DJ and like James's
and her
dad is a music
her-
teacher and
like her dad's cousin was Bobby Blotzer, the drummer of Rat.
of Rat. So,
Hell yeah.
She has
Yeah,
a
it
little
all
bit of a
comes
legacy.
Turtle Creek, what's up? Yeah. But for
Round
sure.
and
So
round, yeah.
I think it's cool because, you know, we find ourselves, it's kind of a blessing and a curse because we find ourselves like appealing to everyone. But then also a lot of times it's like, what is our identity?
Well,
You know,
sure, I
in
can
a sense of like what we want to be and what we want to give to people. But really, like, we just like to make people happy with our music and like play what people are going to feel and jive to. And
Yeah, I think that, you know, being in some aspects, you're still like a young band. You're still figuring it
Yeah.
out. It takes some time to find your voice as a band. You have a lot of people in your band, so everybody is bringing something different to the
For sure.
table. And it seems like your list of influences and inspirations is probably, you know, as diverse
Vast.
as a TGI Fridays menu.
Yeah,
A little bit of something for everybody on that motherfucker.
Yeah.
So I imagine it could be really hard, but also a lot of fun because there's no rules. You could do whatever you want.
exactly.
But at the same time, it's like, well, okay, how do we actually get a song written?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like how do you
It's a cool process that we go through.
and also like you have like some players in your band and everybody's really super capable, but like there's still kind of like a pop, not necessarily like pop dance, but like a pop sensibility, like a verse chorus structure, like
Right.
still simple and accessible, but everything's still musical. It's like trying to balance all of that out with 7 fucking people. Imagine it's a lot of work.
with like having all those people, because everybody brings good ideas. Everybody said it. They're they're
So
all
what's
players.
the songwriting process like? Is there like is there like a core group of people that maybe are like, hey, these are the ideas, let's build? Like, is there a mastermind, or is it
think-
just like every week is something different?
Yeah, it's seriously like it's all varies. Like it's usually somebody will bring an idea and then we just all kind of build off it and take our own ideas off that. Like,
Do you just like
It
write a lot
varies.
with jamming and things like that?
Well,
I mean,
not really, actually. Not a lot of our
It's more like
jamming.
I think someone will come with a tune and we'll work with it from that point.
yeah, some of our early songs were definitely like just jams, like with lyrics on top of it. But as we kind of like progressed more, it's like James would bring like a part that he wrote on piano to practice, and then I'd be like, okay, well maybe that we could add this on top of that, and somebody will come up with a bridge, and it's definitely like pretty equal input from everybody on songs for sure.
Majority though goes from a core idea, just out of ease, probably from James and I, and we've kind of, at least with Sunday Gravy, that was kind of our core, but now we've definitely revamped that with the new players that we have and stuff, so it's been cool.
How often are you rehearsing as a band?
Twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
All 7?
Yeah.
Twice a week?
typically,
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
And sometimes Sundays too, if we really feel like if we don't have a show that week or something.
Yeah.
So
That's fucking awesome.
We figure if you can dedicate, we don't practice long. We practice like 2 hours on Tuesday nights.
7 to
and
10.
Sure.
typically,
Yeah. It's
something
same
like
thing.
that.
Yeah.
But like if you can dedicate like 4 hours to the band weekly, realistically, we all do a lot of different projects and things, and we're really busy and occupied in other times of our lives. So for like us, we're just like, if you can just dedicate this amount of time to the band for like a week, a regular routine schedule, it just works somehow for us. And
Sure.
we're really lucky to have it work like that, because that's like not
you
always
are.
the case at all.
It could be hard to find reliable people.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I think that it's important, you don't want to be in a band with somebody you're not really like friends with.
Yeah.
So it's just like, like the homies, let's hang out this
Yeah.
week. And then just we'll work on some music.
We played
and
with
just
people
got it,
bullshit.
before.
man. You
They're
got it.
like, I haven't hung out with my band like outside of rehearsal, and I can't tell you how long. It's like, dude, we're all best friends. Like,
Yeah.
and like
it's like
another
this
thing,
is our friend group.
it is. It's our friend group, and like what we do a lot of times for practices, we'll have dinner prepared. We'll have drinks ready. So like when people come, it's not like, all right, sit in a room with like people that you only practice with. You really don't know anything. We'll sit around, we'll bullshit. We'll cook some food, eat some dinner, whatever, and then we'll be like, bullshit, and then we'll go into practice. And like I feel like a lot of times with that, even with the new members we've had and other people coming in and out of the band, people that play with us, I think it's really cool when you bring them in and they kind of feel comfortable then, and then the overall sound and product I think is better whenever everybody feels comfortable and chill in an environment like that,
100%. Energy is everything.
Yeah, 100%.
And even outside of the band, everybody has bullshit going on in
Right.
their lives. And if you're not actually hanging out and talking about the good and the bad and knowing what's happening with your homies, how can you expect to do something positive and creative together if, fucking Doug is all grumpy because of something and you're like, what's this energy, Doug? Is this
we
because of
fired
us?
Doug.
What's going on,
Yeah, but I hate that bullshit. I always call it out. Like,
we say leave the bullshit at the door type of thing too.
Yeah.
and I'll just call you out if you bring it in.
Oh, yeah.
If you're gonna sit there and pout the whole practice, I'm like, what's wrong? What's wrong?
Well, it's important, because it's the thing is like even outside of being in a band and making music together, it's like you're friends. You're supposed to be there for each other, and none of us are getting any fucking younger. So it's just like, stop being a little fucking kid. If you have an issue, let's talk about it. Let me help you. You're my brother. You're my sister. Let's fucking fix this, and then let's go riff on some dope shit.
Yeah.
That's it.
Put your energy, get all that negativity out in a positive way so you can leave here knowing that, even though maybe this aspect of your life's a little bit fucked up now, you still have this and you still have us and we're here for you. family, friends, that type
Yeah.
of bullshit. It's important.
And that's like kind of a little bit of the idea behind our EP, Sunday Gravy. Sunday Gravy is like Sunday Gravy is a red sauce that like a lot of Italian people will cook on Sunday and invite their family over for dinner and this and that. And that's like kind of, was our idea on that, because that's the kind of way we are, it's like, get in touch with your friends and your bandmates and your, so Sunday Gravy, our EP was kind of had that vibe on it.
Yeah.
It's just like, exactly what you say, get to know your people, make them your homies, it's not
That's
just
awesome.
like, so.
Never really family with people too. You can like sit down and have dinner with them,
Yep.
It's- brings you together.
Yeah, and it's so obvious whenever I see you play that you're all having a really good time on stage together, and it's obvious that you're well rehearsed. You're having a good time, and it's great to see that because it just really like there's a nuance to that like I can't explain. It just says a lot about the band, and I'm not surprised to hear that any of the stuff that I'm hearing. It totally makes all the sense in the world.
Just like to have fun and make people dance and like throw down at the same time, like.
And we want the project to be sustainable.
Yeah.
So like, what's more sustainable than like a good, well communicating group of people, So
It could be hard. I think a lot of musicians, especially in the fucking bullshit background that I come from, where, I have like the hip hop thing. So it's a lot of solitary people with ego problems.
Yeah.
And then the heavy metal world, which is also like a lot of solitary only kids that hid in their bedroom just learning guitar for 15 years of their life and have zero social skills, but can fucking rip. Like breaking into those people and getting them to like, become normal adults. Not saying that if you listen to heavy metal, that like there's something wrong with you, but like there's something wrong with me. So like I get it. It is what it is. There's a reason.
mutual.
Yeah. So being able to break down those people and get them locked in. So I always love talking with bands about places where they like to hang out outside of practice, but it seems like kind of like your thing is just like practicing at the place, making dinner, doing that sort of thing. That's your home bodies in a sense, not in a bad way.
Well, we practice at our house. So James and I
that's
live
huge,
together
yeah.
on the river in Verona on Allegheny River Boulevard. And it's called the River House, basically to all of our friends, or the Rat's Nest, however you want to refer to it. But
Is that where the band name comes from?
no, actually the band name comes from James's parents' house,
Where we used to eat Sunday Gravy.
which his mom would always make Sunday dinner. So that
Killer.
was like the big thing. And then we would practice there because his dad's a music teacher. And they actually have a, long story short, wraparound porch. So there's like a special secret like passageway in their basement, essentially, in their garage
for
that like
storage and shit. We just keep,
it's like a
like-
storage place, but we would like go back there and
That
do
was called the
shenanigans
Moat.
as kids, and
Yeah, they called it the Moat.
they could hear us.
Shenanigans.
Well, and they could hear us under the porch. So like we would sound like little rats in the moat. And so like his
okay.
dad's best friend, Uncle Richie's the OG. Uncle Richie's great. He would come down and always like catch us down there and be like, "Oh, the Moat Rats are
Because it would be
out
funny because
again."
we'd all be jamming down there because down in the basement was where we had our music gear. And then all of a sudden, it would be completely quiet. Everybody would leave. There'd be like 10 people down there. And my parents would be like, what? Like, it's quiet now. Like, what is going on? And like, my Uncle Rich is like real cool. But he would leave and he'd come down and he'd be like, it's quiet.
What
in
are
the
you Moat
basement."
Rats doing back there?
He'd come back in the moat. And he'd say, hey, what are you Moat Rats doing? Because he'd come back and it'd be like 12 of us, 10 or 12
So it
of
was
us
just
all-
like it obviously had to be the band name.
Yes.
That's
Very
so funny.
clearly.
Yeah.
We didn't think about it for more than like 5 minutes.
Oh, what?
For sure.
Okay, I was gonna say like, what was that epiphany like, or was it just a thing like, well, that's what it is?
Well, because it's all the people that were in the moat.
I literally
that started
had
the
no
band.
idea that that was the band name till we were playing a show at Shooties and they introduced us as the Moat Rats. And I was
way.
like,
Yeah, because we needed to go with a name real quick, and like I didn't really tell anybody. I was just like, the Moat Rats.
It works.
That's so
Yeah.
funny. It was like Sykes was like a bullshit graffiti name that I had in middle school.
Nice.
And then I started making beats for some people. And I was recording tracks for like rapper friends that I had.
Sweet.
And it was like people wanted to shout me out on the track. And it was like, well, we don't want to call you Brian. I was like, oh, whatever, just say Sykes. And now that's it.
you go.
That's
Sweet.
Then it just fucking, now everybody calls me Sykes. I fucking hate it. I'm over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can re-establish yourself.
It's too late.
It's too
Too
late.
too
It's
late to
late.
rebrand.
That's
Yeah.
like Liam in our band.
Yeah,
His
keyboard
whole
players
life we
going
called
through
him
the same
Chip.
problem.
And poor thing just wants to be called Liam.
I knew him for 5 years as Chip. Like, I literally knew him for 5 years before I knew his name was Liam.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was like somebody called him Liam, and I was like, who the hell is Liam?
Mind fuck.
It's Chip.
Yeah.
And his mom, who comes sees a lot of our shows, she's like, I gave him such a nice Irish name, and you guys call him Chip.
Oh no.
Yeah. Poor bud.
That's so funny. So now, moving into the new year here. It's 2020.
Yeah.
Year of the Rat.
Is it the year of the rat?
It
Year of the
is.
Rat.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I love that. So what is Moat Rats working on currently, if anything? Anything they really talk about? You want to plug anything?
Well, right now we are taking a little performance break for the first time in 4 years. We've been playing near every weekend for the past 4 years. So we are taking a couple months off. We're getting in the studio and we anticipate having our album ready for you guys, hopefully by May or June, but no date is set yet. So
That's exciting.
yeah, we have about 10 songs and this whole album's been written with our new players, so it's been like really cool because our sound is definitely a little bit more refined from Sunday Gravy, I'd say. Not that I discount that because I just listened back to it again yesterday and I just love that EP. But yeah,
You wouldn't be where you are now if it wasn't for that material.
exactly.
It's the unfortunate inevitability of being a musician
Yeah.
is it
Exactly.
you need to write stuff that's like it's always going to grow, and it's not that necessarily things are bad. Like I look back at stuff that I did and it's not that it's bad, it's just different.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't even feel like me or sound like me anymore. It's like
Right.
as I've like found my voice throughout the years, it's just changed.
Yeah.
I've changed who I am as a person. I'm
that's
not
the-
as
like-
angry as I was when I was
There
younger.
we go.
well, that's good.
Yeah.
Good.
And we've learned from songs that we've had in the past. There's songs that we've wrote in the past that we don't play anymore. And there's other songs that we've had that we're like, oh, this isn't going to be a song. And then, someone suggests something and it becomes a song we regularly play. So we try to encourage anybody in the band that has an idea or has something to bring it and let's, see what comes of it, because you never know. Like, it could become with a suggestion of someone else or letting someone else hear that song, they could pitch an idea that might help it and, it could become a tune to jam on. And
I love it. One of the coolest things about music is utilizing the power of collaboration
Totally.
and getting everybody's ideas
Yeah.
together, because
have to, yeah.
like to have like the ego of thinking that like you write a song, you're a songwriter for a band and you give it to 6 other people and you're going to play it exactly this way, no changes because I'm right and I know everything this song needs.
Right.
You're a
Yeah.
fucking moron.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. Like you need to bring in this
I can't
outside-
imagine being in a band with somebody like that.
Why would you want to be?
Yeah,
Like, why would you get like super technically proficient players that, I guess, if it's like a symphony or something, that's a little bit
Right.
different.
Yeah.
Right.
But like, playing in like basically a rock band of sorts and you don't want them to bring anything to the table. What's the point? You may as well just play to backtracks.
Where's the
Yeah.
passion? Like, that's just paying musicians to
the fun of
play
it.
charts. It's just
But,
so boring to me.
Everybody does things for different reasons.
Sure,
Some people want to have a band because they love playing music and they love hanging out with their friends and their family and things like that. Like a Moat Rats situation.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are some people that are just like, it's totally fine. It's not the first time it happened. I've spilled beer all over my laptop multiple times.
There must be a hole in the bottom of my cup or something.
Oh,
It's just
yeah.
condensation. It's science. Do you need a bottle opener?
A lighter or a bottle opener,
have a
whatever you
bottle
got.
opener.
But man, I completely forgot I was even talking about at this point.
I'm distracted. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Jeez, James.
What were we talking about?
If you're listening, leave a note in the comments for me to check out. Where were
Yeah,
we?
what?
Where were we?
Anyways,
I was distracted by that stain.
but seriously. All right, James.
Gone now.
You want to switch places? You okay?
Oh, I'm cool.
We were talking about bands being friends and family and things like that.
Yes.
And then sometimes there are people that start bands just because they are a fucking rock star. Like, this is going to be my fucking
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And that's not entirely invalid, Like
'Cause there
James
are-
Brown was a fucking
Yeah.
maniac.
Yeah.
That
The
dude
hustle.
put out some good music.
Yep.
Even though, he was quite the control freak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Steely
But-
Dan, they were pretty controlling too. And that's one of our
that's
huge
some of our biggest
influences, So we're just totally different in a sense of like what we do. James loves Leonard Skinner and same thing.
Well, I think too, there are players.
Really? Thanks.
I don't think James loves Leonard Skinner that much.
of all the bands, Carly. Yeah,
There's an
that's
inside
me.
joke happening.
No, that is
No.
not an inside joke. She literally just.
Well,
There is a long story behind it,
Okay.
but anyways,
we can get into it if we need to.
he
but
does love Steely Dan.
I will say that
Something to do with Leonard Skinner.
the there are some players though that are really good players but aren't good writers. They don't give a shit about writing. They just
Yeah.
want to be in a band and fill a spot. So that's cool too that they can have a place. There's something in the world for
Yeah.
everybody.
Totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Whatever floats your boat, man.
Whatever peels your banana.
There you go.
Yeah. And I think, especially because our band really doesn't have somebody that is in a lead role of a band, that's why I think everybody and all the different personalities can collab in a good way, because you can bring the best out of those people. You can bring the best out of somebody that says, hey, you know what? I'm not really here to write, but I want to play in this band. And, by letting everybody have their own voice and, part in the band, I think you can bring out the best in the people with
And
the
everybody
different
stands up
personalities.
and takes that role as leader
Yeah.
whenever they need to. Like I think that we have a good balance of that too. Like there's times where if like we're dealing with somebody that's organizing the show where Carly's dealing with them or I'm dealing with them or even Justin Benzino, our sax player, is dealing with them, it's kind of a multi-role thing that whenever somebody needs to step up and do it, usually
Yeah,
somebody steps up and does it.
It's good that there are multiple people in your band that want to do that, because that's a really important part. It's one thing to because it's real easy to it's not easy to find a group of friends and make music together that rules. That's an accomplishment. But the next thing is if you're going to actually start playing shows and trying to make the band a business in some aspect, there needs to be, everybody needs to pull their weight. It's not a thing where you can just do nothing and expect everything to happen.
Yeah.
And the thing that's really cool about what I've noticed as an outside observer of the Moat Rats is that there isn't a pocket that you've cornered yourselves in. It seems like you'll play a wide variety of events in a wide variety of locations with a wide variety of bands. And that's really cool that you've been able to put yourselves into a lot of those places, because there's a lot of bands in Pittsburgh that will find their one promoter that they're friends with, and they
We
play
don't like that.
those promoter
Yeah.
shows, and that's it.
Yeah, that's something. Even when it comes back to playing the cover gigs and opening up from my dad's band when we first started, it's not like we're going to be prude about, oh, well, we're not going to play with this band's not our style, or oh, we're not going to go there. This isn't cool if we play a show out in Greensburg.
Dude, one of the most lit shows we've had in the past 6 months has been that Oakmont Tavern gig the day after.
And it's
Thanksgiving.
about being kind of open to that kind of stuff and not limiting yourself to any sort of scene or any sort of venue or
Yeah.
part of town. I mean, you got to take what you can get.
Yeah, over the years, I have found that I don't give a fuck about playing with other rappers or playing with other metal bands. I don't care if your band's good. I don't care if your band is bad. I just want you to be cool people. Am I enjoying my time around you? Because if you're cool people, your friends are probably cool. Everybody's gonna get along, and most people like all kinds of music.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to a show because I want to see all one style of music the whole night. I mean, maybe some people, but most cool people are just I'm here for whatever. I just want to hear some shit that's cool.
Yep.
I want to
all
see
about
people
the
that give a
hang,
fuck.
man.
We had a release show in November, and I kind of curated the lineup for it, and I just
Ooh, curated.
Yeah, you like
Big
that word?
word.
But I just whenever we were talking about it, we were throwing around different names and things of who we wanted on the bill and who to reach out to, and we just wanted to have this really cool lineup of very different but still sensical acts. So it ended up being Abstract Theory, our buddies Abstract Theory. They did a quick 30-minute set. Hey.
Shout outs to them. They're the homies.
Love those dudes.
Yeah, they're good. They're good
Troy
people.
and Louie.
Yeah, they're good dudes.
But they did a quick 30-minute set, and then they did this cool little kind of I don't know what we would call
They
it.
MC'd
They
the night.
MC'd
Killed
the
it.
night,
It was
basically.
awesome.
Stand-up comedians.
They're MC.
Yeah, it was pretty great. And then we had the telephone line, who's awesome, and Addie Twig, and she's just wonderful. And then we had Sierra Sellers and ourselves. So it was just a really cool night of such an eclectic crowd for us. And it was just so cool because it wasn't like, oh, this band played and then their group left. You're so many times you're at a show and there's different acts that are different genres and stuff. And like this band brings this crowd and then that crowd leaves. And then the next band comes on and their crowd comes up to watch and then that crowd leaves. It was like the whole night, everybody was just there for the show. And it was just really sweet to see.
You mentioned the term curating.
Yeah.
And I think as being a show organizer, it is actually really important to think about, curating an event and doing something that's going to make sense to you, because it's like, okay, well, you're a band and people are coming to see your band. So people trust you and your opinions on things. So if you put together a lineup of people that you respect and enjoy being around, it's like the people that come out to see you are going to be curious, because it's like, well, I like the Moat Rats and like, who are these other acts? Like they should be cool because they put this show together. And like, it's really important too, to like put together an event because you do want people to stay there. You don't want people to just leave afterwards. Like, and obviously it's like, even if people are coming out to your show, most people, that's not the only thing they want to do that night. They probably want to go somewhere else and do another thing and all this stuff. So it's like thinking about where you're booking a show, what time of year, what's around there, and just try to, I don't know, somehow strategically weave it all together to make it successful. It's so much more than just like booking a date and then hoping people show up.
Right. Oh my gosh, so much more. And that was like the first time I had ever done that. And I kind of took the reins on that one. And it was fun. I felt like I was like, what playlist would I want to listen to for 4 hours? Like whose albums would I want to turn on back to back that would make sense, that would like give me a vibe for 4 hours of,
Honestly,
time.
It's like, you spend... sometimes days, sometimes weeks, sometimes months writing a song.
Yeah.
You should put the same amount of energy into putting an event together.
Oh yeah.
Like the event in its own way is a song of sorts. It's like a big it's a piece of art. It's a medley. It's performance. It's a playlist. It's an IRL playlist.
It really is. I know. That's like what I was feeling from it. So it was cool just to see. And it was fun because like it was definitely challenging. I was super stressed out like the whole time. Everyone was like, Carly, calm down. I'm like,
literally, okay. I had so many, up until that day, I was like, nobody's going to show up. We're just going to be playing to like our friends and our family. And then
it's good. It's good. I think the best way to be an active musician is to keep your expectations low, but your attitude positive.
You'll always be surprised that way.
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. And the other thing too is you just don't want to get into a position where like you're expecting, you don't want to like put all your expectations on things that are literally out of your control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you could promote the hell out of a show, but you have no control over whether or not people are actually going to come. Like just tell them about it.
Yeah.
And don't be annoying.
That's it.
And if your event is cool and you take the time to put together a cool thing, you're not going to have to nag people to come out to it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
People want, it's like, sometimes it's like I could get invited to do something the day of. And it's like, okay, sounds cool. I'll go.
Yeah.
You don't need to remind me every other week on Facebook with sponsored ads. Like, if your event sucks, it's just going to suck no matter how much you tell me about it.
Exactly. And it's just being smart. And like, especially with like Facebook ads and stuff, I just feel like a lot of times it can almost be counterproductive. It's like, you're putting this money in, and I totally respect, like I saw you talking your little rant the other day about, you have to want to put in like $35 to like promote on Facebook sometimes because that's what is going to be like a primary source of advertisement, but like knowing where to do that and when not to do that and when it's worth it. And like, just being smart about it really is like a huge part of that. And it's a learning process.
Well, I think a lot of us are neglecting the power of phone numbers and just like texting your friends.
Yeah.
Instead of like inviting them on Facebook.
Oh, for
like,
sure.
Don't forget that like, you can just use this for like basic communication. It may take a little bit of extra effort, but like, I guarantee you, if you text 15 friends and then just invite them out genuinely to a thing, they will come. But you can invite 200 people on Facebook and 5 of them will show up.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just like, it's like you're spending too much time, like wasting energy and sometimes money into like people that are like half they're like fair weather fans of
Yeah.
sorts,
Yeah.
you know, like it's not that they don't like you, but I think that just that
They'll
personal
go out when
connection.
that show like fits their schedule, you know.
And also, like, there's too much noise on social media. It's like, you know, I get invited to things, but it's like, fuck. It's like, okay, I get a notification and then I open it up and there's 4 other things. And if none of those 4 other things distract me, then it's like, okay, well, fuck, maybe I'm like at a red light or I'm like doing, you know, I'm like looking at my phone at a time when I shouldn't. So the notification's gone. And then
You forget
2
about
hours later, you forget about it.
Yeah.
It's like not optimal.
Yeah.
So
Right. No, I totally agree. And that's the thing. I think a lot of the reason why we have people come to our shows, you know, like we make a point to be like, hey, this means something to us, like to the point where we're going to reach out to you on a personal level. Like that's huge, you know? And like a lot of people that, you know, have been telling us over and over, oh, I want to come see you. Let me know when you're playing. Let me know when you're playing. They're not going to respond to a Facebook message. They want that text message or the phone call. It might be a little aggravating.
Well, it's more personal,
But
you know? I mean,
it is.
shit.
It's something that will get that person to the show. And if that means something to you to have genuine fans and a genuine fan base, then that's huge.
yeah, text people. Even though like it's like in my mind, I feel like DMing people on Facebook is incredibly annoying.
Yeah.
But on the flip, there's been multiple times that people have sent me DMs reminding me about shows. And then I'm like, oh shit, I wouldn't have remembered if you wouldn't have messaged me. And even it's like, I appreciate, it's like, you must really give a shit or you must need people to come out. I'll come out. Cool. So it's like a thing where it's like, I don't want to, I think I wasted a lot of time worrying about annoying people. But like in this society where it's like, you know, Susan is posting pictures of her sandwiches every other minute on Instagram. I feel like it's impossible to be too annoying. Yeah. So it's just, if you have a good reason to message somebody, if it's a legitimate good thing, like it's just like, hey, Brad, I know that like, you know, you like this music and I think you would like these bands. We're having the show. If you don't have anything going on, come on out. That's not a bad message to send if it's genuine.
Yeah. Then it's like, I don't know, like if it's something you care about, it shouldn't feel like you're annoying somebody to ask them to come out and like see what you've been working on.
Yeah.
You know?
And if, I mean, the worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to realize that that person just doesn't care that much about what you're doing. So you
In
can
that
just
case, fuck
not,
'em.
just don't exhaust energy into them anymore. Move on.
Yeah.
There are millions or billions of people on the planet. Don't worry about Brad. Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Fuck Brads.
Yeah. Fuck Brad, dude.
Now, do you ever though? Oh, no.
No, yeah, you just called him it last week.
Stop. We were getting our checks at Condado and the guy
No,
was
you
like,
called
how
me
is this
that.
going to go?
That, oh,
and I
yeah.
was like, oh, James and I will be together in that. And then the guy was like appalled and Brad was just like,
And the guy come back over, he's like, here's your
fine.
guy's check and here's that.
yeah,
Wow.
he's not that. He's Brad. He's great. He plays guitar. But anyways,
Guitar.
That's raw.
I was just thinking, okay, this might just be my anxious brain, but like, do you ever feel like one of those people that like work for a pyramid scheme promoting your band on Facebook? You know what I mean? Like those girls that sell like beauty products and you look at that and you're like,
You mean the men
oh,
who sell energy drinks?
sure. Or, you know, people who sell like protein shakes, like that are like a pyramid scheme and they try to get you to sell them.
Well,
Golden goat.
maybe it would be one thing. I only feel like that. I don't feel like that promoting things, but I can see that when there are bands that'll do things where it's like, yo, if we get 50 people to retweet this status, we'll post a new song, or we'll just post the fucking song.
Right? People will listen to it or not.
Yeah, like
Yeah. I feel
just shut up. Like I remember back in the day, I think there was a thing that Punchline did where it was like some sort of a gimmick where if they didn't get like X amount of things, they said they were going to break up. I forget. It was like a total. It wasn't. I don't think it was genuine. I think it was just like a promotional gimmick. I
Yeah.
can't remember the details of it.
That's
But
pushing
I
it.
remember I was just like really angry when I saw it. It was just like, gimmicks are fine.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like I like Slipknot. That's a good gimmick.
Yeah.
But like, don't like. It's abuse your fans or be like, oh, like this, like we're holding on to this new piece of art that you want.
It's like emotional abuse.
Yeah, we're only gonna release it if you fucking help us.
Yeah.
It's like just release the fucking music
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
you
stop
obviously
being
have it.
weird.
It's done.
And if it's good, then
Your
people
fans
will
will
like it and they'll tell their friends about it. Like that's another thing too with Facebook or the internet in general that bugs me. A lot of people will say like, oh, the algorithms are fucked up, or, you know, we post something and Facebook's making us pay for people to see it. But you ever notice sometimes you might post something really silly on the internet or something like just genuine and it gets a lot of attention. Why? Facebook, you didn't have to pay for it. It's just you posted something genuine that people related with.
Right.
I think a lot of people have a hard time admitting that either what they posted just wasn't interesting, the song wasn't good, and they just need to try again. Yeah. I feel like if what you're doing is good, it will gravitate. That's how things go viral, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Because it's either it's
good
really
or entertaining.
Good, it's entertaining, whether it's really good or really bad, whatever. That's subjective. So it's just work on putting out something that people actually give a fuck about.
And it's relatable.
And I think too, people do that kind of stuff because nowadays with social media, I feel like people will get a lot of gratification on just likes or comments or anything. So they will probably get like, you know, personal gratification off when they say something like, oh, blah, blah, I'm gonna do this. Well, if I don't get this many likes, and it's just like, I mean, it's like, you know, I don't know.
I mean, if it's your thing, that's fine. It's just not for me. I'm not going to tell anybody like what they should or shouldn't do.
Exactly.
I'm still figuring out.
Yeah. I just got to say, if you're willing to break up as a band over like lack of likes, then like, what are you really in it for, man?
Yeah, I can't. Well, I don't think it ever would have happened. I really need to like research what that was. If you remember,
for anybody,
leave it in the comments.
No hate punchline, but
no. I have no beef with them. I just remember there was something and I thought it was really goofy. I just don't remember. Oh, I think it was if their album or their song didn't go number 1 on iTunes.
Oh,
they were going to break up or something like that.
That's
I'm pretty
dramatic.
sure that's what it was.
Yeah, that's like.
But I'm pretty sure that their release
like
hit number 1.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure they ended up getting the number 1 in
wow.
like their category or whatever.
Low key, like the perfect epitome of pop punk, though. Like, oh my God, if my release doesn't hit number 1, we're breaking up.
It's very on brand.
Yeah,
totally.
it's great.
I could see that.
So, like, I kind of don't blame them.
Yeah,
you know,
no, I mean,
if it was like a metal band that was like, oh, you know, if our release doesn't go number 1 on the metal charts, you know, like my metal man voice versus my pop punk voice, that was great. I was like, oh, my metal man.
This is super accurate.
But you know what I mean? Like, I guess it's appropriate for their brand, but
it's just, I don't know. It's
to each their own.
Well, I think that like when you're dealing with a band like that, you know, it's not I'm sure that there's other people that are influencing decisions that they make, management and things like that, where it's like, hey, we got this really cool, fun idea. Let's do this. It's not just like, you know, the 7 of you in a room. I don't know if you have a manager or anything like that.
I'm basically our manager because I'm good at stuff. That's why.
Oh, yeah.
It's not really because I want to do it. It's just because I'm better than most.
You follow
for the
up
job,
on stuff
man.
too.
And I actually do it.
Wouldn't be here without her.
Thanks, guys.
that makes sense. But
all the
I
cred.
think that there's a lot of things too. Like it's funny when people give artists like a Taylor Swift or somebody shit for something that they did, and I'm like, yo, they have like such a small percentage control over like their music being on Spotify or not, or you know,
she barely owns half her music.
Yeah, like there's like all this stuff where it's like, you know, fuck that person for doing this, and it's like, nah, fuck their manager, fuck their team, fuck the people around them. Like it gets to a point where it's like you just kind of
you're
you're
being run as
it's
a
like
business.
you're an
no longer a
employee of
person.
yourself.
Like, yeah.
You're selling yourself as a brand. I mean, and
it
that's really
changes.
what it becomes.
Yeah,
you know?
things do change.
That's why I always have, you know, as a vocalist, it's funny because everybody always comes up to me like, when are you going to do solo stuff? And I'm like, I have no intention of ever doing that. I mean, in the near future, just because that is so much pressure on one individual person. I love the fact that I can share my creative, you know, space with like other people and like have other opinions. Like, it's just like, I already second guess my own creativity and doubt myself enough. Imagine being a solo artist and having full control of exactly what you're putting out and like having to basically sell yourself as a brand. Like we were saying, like that just to me is a feat that I don't think I could really undertake.
I think it requires, and I say this from personal experience, a certain level of ego and delusion of grandeur
that I don't have.
Yeah.
At all.
Maybe not. I don't know you that well, but if you tell me you don't have it, you don't have it.
But no, you're right with something like that because I like.
No, you have to
Totally.
like, fuck you, I'm me. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm the best and you're going to want to listen to me, you know? And
is that confidence
And
or
you're-
is that
yeah.
ego? I guess it's kind of a bit of both. They're very synonymous.
Are crippling self-esteem issues being being projected in like a uncomfortably like
Right.
egotistical way.
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah. I like to
it's
share.
like I love watching like I see this a lot in like DIY rap shows where it's like you have did somebody fart or is that just a chair?
it was the chair. I swear.
We love farts. Oh, if nobody knows, our band thinks farts are hilarious.
I've been holding mine in this whole time, dude.
Oh, let them rip. I wish these were
No,
actually
don't let 'em
plastic
rip,
chairs.
please.
They get the real good reverberation.
Oh, my
These are nice
big fans of
faux
farts,
leather,
right?
everybody, if you guys are wondering.
I completely forgot what I was talking about.
Solo artist stuff and
farts.
Shit.
DIY something or other.
Fuck, we're getting sidetracked a lot.
Guys, what were we talking about
Leave
again?
it in the comments.
it's the wine.
Oh, jeez.
I feel like I was gonna make a point and then I got distracted by a fart. It's okay.
No, it
Farts
wasn't.
are
It was
funny.
the chair.
That's
No,
what
we were
they all
talking
say.
about being a little bit egotistical to be like your own solo artist. Have to have some sort of ego to it.
Yeah, there was some point that I was gonna
Anyway.
make from there.
Can I make one more dumb point just because
Please.
out of my system?
Anything to keep the conversation going.
How many chairs do you think have been blamed for farts?
That were actually farts and it was blamed.
Poor chairs. Shit. Not only
Leave
do they
it in
get
the
farted
comments.
on, they get blamed for the fart.
How many chairs do you think were blamed for farts? Leave it in the comments.
Millions.
Oh, that's so fucking
Okay,
funny.
sorry.
I can share with you my most triumphant fart story.
Please.
Please, yes.
It was in a Burger King.
Nice.
So it was like one of those like it was like in a booth where it has like the padded back and then like it's like whatever it's made out of like that like whatever
Yeah.
that material is, but it's like it was hollow on the bottom.
Oh,
and I was like
God,
sitting like right in the middle of it and this like the acoustics and like it was basically just like farting on like a large floor tile, you know, and it was just so loud. It was fucking outrageous.
Oh my God.
Like it was that type of thing where like I farted and it seemed like people were looking outside for like a car wreck. Like they weren't even like there's no way that sound came from the inside. Like what happened? You know what I mean? Like
Was this
is there a Transformers fight happening outside? Was that Bumblebee? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. I have no fucking
Oh man.
yeah. So that was it.
It's
a
okay.
good
The
one.
loud ones are better, I think, than the smelly ones.
Yeah, it's better to just. Own
I
it
would so much rather
Yeah, 'cause
own
you
like a
can
loud
blame
fart
chair
that
on a
doesn't
loud
smell.
one, but if it smells like
Especially when it's like one of those that just like follows you. So you like walk out of the room to try and avoid it, but like it comes with you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not that
it
like, I
drafts
have
you
a
like
lot
a
of
NASCAR,
experience
you know?
with farting because girls don't fart, but
Well, I think anybody that's been in a band for any amount of time is so much more used to the concept of farting because
yeah.
it just happens. You know, you spend at least 4 to 6 hours a week in an enclosed space with other adults.
There's been times
And-
on stage where I've
mean-
literally looked at James and been like, "I'm sorry."
Dude, I mean, you got some Sunday gravy in you, maybe a
Oh,
couple
yeah.
beers. Farts are gonna happen.
dude.
it's really good for the vocalist though because like I can play it off because like there's so much noise
And
going
blame it all
on. I
on the
just like
dudes.
jump up and down a little extra and then be like, "Oh guys, ooh, who farted?"
Oh, yeah.
Gross. Yeah, always James. Always blame James.
James usually takes the blame.
Anyways, do we want to talk about something other than fart? Because we could talk about this for a very long
We can
time.
keep talking about farting. I don't care. That's fine.
Yeah, well, sometimes like in the summer, we gotta open the windows and turn the fan
Sure.
on in our
Oh my
practice
God.
room. Like,
We haven't even shared a van yet, and we like understand each other's farts. Like I could only imagine a touring band in a van for hours on end. Like, sorry guys.
especially eating food on the road, like it's gonna,
yeah, because you know it's not healthy. It's not like.
Have you ever toured or anything?
Yeah.
So would it be bad? I mean, have you ever been with any notorious
Please enlighten
farters on the
us.
road?
I mean, it's happened, but for me, it's just not a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
It just doesn't bother me.
Let it rip.
Like farts don't bother me.
Where'd you guys tour? Where you guys?
So I've been like from here to Orlando is as south
sweet.
as I've gone.
All right.
And the most farthest west I've gone is like Chicago.
Nice.
The
So-
most farthest west.
The farthest west.
Farthest west.
Yeah.
Farthest.
So the farthest down I've gone from Pittsburgh is Orlando, and the most I've gone to the left of Pittsburgh
Got you. Farthest.
would be Orlando.
Very cool.
Right of Pittsburgh, I don't think I've played anywhere further than like Philly or Baltimore. Baltimore's a little bit further than Philly. No, Maryland, like outside DC area.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
That's like kind of out there. It has the little curve.
Yeah.
I just imagined you with a propulsion unit that like propelled you in those directions as you were describing it, because we were still talking about farting.
Huh.
You were being propelled by the
Green
farts
power.
in my
Yeah,
mind.
I'm just
That's
like, yeah, now I'm like, you know, like when like you're watching like a documentary, like a road trip documentary, and they have like the map and they show like the map and like the line going from point A to point B. It's like
Yes.
my face with like a butt and just like
The
instead
giant
of
clown.
the
And a
line,
poo
yeah, yeah.
emoji at the destination.
Yeah.
Good
That'd
stuff.
be fucking fire.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I want to actually talk about with you, the Moat Rats, is in terms of being a band, you produce good music and it sounds really good. You're good players.
Thanks.
But what about like the visual aspects of the band? This is a thing that a lot of bands stress about. You know, like metal bands are worried about looking cool. Rappers are always worried about having like really cool music videos and things like that. But where does like the visual representation of anything fall into the category of the Moat Rats? Are you worried about style? Are you worried about music videos? Are you worried about artwork? Do you think about these things?
Yeah, I would say that some of us do.
It's been
'Cause
more recent. More
it's one
recently.
thing-
I would say that some of us put more
Carly cares.
pressure on
I
that,
definitely care.
or importance.
It's so interesting because there's a thing that I've noticed throughout the years whenever like styles of music that like are a lot more musically focused tend to focus less on the other things. Not to say that like hip hop isn't musically focused, but it's like there's a dramatic difference between like, you know, like bands that are rehearsing 6 hours a week and then like rappers that don't rehearse at all, but they spend maybe 6 hours a week,
Yeah.
you know, figuring out outfits and shooting videos and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's like how you apply your time.
I think to me, because I'm a vocalist and because like, to me, I don't know, like I write my melody and that's my melody, you know, like I think as an actual instrumentalist, I think you tend to think a little deeper into it. And so you can maybe not necessarily find the importance in the other things. Well, and also as the manager kind of aspect of things with me, like I definitely stress it a little bit. But we have a lot of hard-headed people. Like I can't get them to change a freaking shirt if I didn't like their shirt. Like I know that sounds really petty, but like
Oh yeah.
if we're all in black and you have a navy blue shirt on, like I'm going to ask you to put a black shirt on.
Sure.
Just like I don't know. To me, that's like not that big of a deal,
Or
but to
like,
them, it's like the end of the
If
world.
we have a photo shoot that we're doing, like, which we don't do many photo shoots because we're not the image kind of people really, yet we're trying to get better at that. You know, we say, hey, everybody wear black and white, and you show up, someone shows up in a tie-dye shirt with red, black plaid
Checked pants and a floral shirt and
It's-
checkered
what the
shoes.
fuck are you? It's so funny. I think that like, it's an interesting dilemma because like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it wouldn't have fucking mattered.
Yeah.
But now we're in the social media era and everything is so visually driven. So it's like, even if you're a band that doesn't want to give a fuck about like having a cohesive look, there still needs to be something because people are going to be like, what is this? Like,
Yeah.
they may not even think about it, but it's still there and it's something to think about. I hate it. Like, I'm very much.
It's not
I
about
mean,
the music anymore. It's
yeah.
about the entire
I think-
image of things. Like
Yeah, I think I have it like
product.
just being like a guy. It's a little bit easier for me because I could just wear a fucking band T-shirt and jeans, and it's like
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
But you know, being a lady, I imagine it could be a little bit more
Yeah.
stressful sometimes.
Well, and to me, it's really hard because, you know, as a woman in music, you know, it is, and especially as a vocalist and a front woman, it is so easy to be like sexualized kind of. And I'm like not in my day-to-day life at all. I'm not very femme.
Sure.
You know, I definitely find myself like preferring a t-shirt and leggings as I'm wearing right now to, you know, other things. But definitely I feel a pressure on me whenever I play a show to look a certain way or to appeal to a certain person. And I think that's something that I'm actually kind of like working through right now because I feel so much more confident at just expressing my own individuality and, you know, not putting that stress on the things that I feel like need to be stressed, kind of, if that makes sense.
There's been times when, like, in the moment, I'm like, whatever, fuck it doesn't matter. And then, like, I'll see pictures at a show that somebody took, and I'm like, we look like bums.
Yeah.
Like, we just, like, it's like, there's something, like, what is it about this photo that's bothering me? It's like, oh, it's like, I mean, we're not fucking professionals by any means, but we look like fucking amateurs.
Yeah.
There's something that's, like, really weird about that. And it's like, I don't want to, like, stress about this, but also for, like, if I didn't know who I was and I was looking at a picture of this band, I would just be like, oh, I might think this is just some bullshit band playing in a bullshit place.
Right. Yeah.
And that's like, and then I'm like, that's not true. Like, I know because I'm part of this world, but for people that aren't in bands and don't, you know, the normal person, the person that, like, you're trying to hopefully get to come out to a show someday.
Yeah.
It's
funny.
I hate thinking about it, but it's so.
You can't hear a picture, you know?
Yeah.
You can't hear that, like, I mean, like, you may look like bums in that picture, but you could have been killing that song. You know? And, like,
it's just like,
And you're drawn to
can't
the image
convey that.
first.
Yeah.
The image catches you, the music keeps you there, is my opinion. So, like, even with myself, like, whenever I'm, like, finding new artists that I like, you know, I'll be, like, on iTunes or something and just, like, scrolling through stuff. And I'm like, I liked the visual first. Did I care? Did I even hear their music? Do I even know what genre they play? No, but I saw that image. I saw their name. Those are the things that appealed to me first. And as much as I think musicians don't want to give credit where it's due in that aspect, I think it definitely needs to be there because that's how you sell your art.
it's a
That's how
human
you
thing.
sell
It's like, okay, if you've never been to a restaurant before, how many times are you going to probably order the thing that they have a picture of in the menu versus the thing that they don't have a picture of?
True. Yeah.
Yep.
You know, it's like you see it, you get a better idea of it.
Who's
And it's
buying a car on Craigslist without a picture?
Yeah,
Yes.
it like fucks with your head. But there's just something where it's like, I don't know. There's something scientific or biological about the wiring in our brains that, and insect, regardless of how evolved and civilized we've become as a species, we're still animals to some degree. Yeah. So there are those things that, like, exist in us in the way that we, like, innately, instinctively interact with things.
Yeah, for sure. And it's definitely like a sociological thing too. Sociological.
And that's why, like, shit on social media, like, it's that you got to have that image. It's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah, especially it's so easy to, if you're not gonna give a fuck, somebody else is gonna give that fuck for you, and then it's like, ah, shit, now I'm missing out. But at the end of the day, it's like, well, I just want to be in a fucking band. I don't give a fuck about this other stuff. But if I don't give a fuck about this other stuff, nobody's gonna hear me.
Yeah. You could be the greatest band in the world.
Yeah.
Nobody could listen.
I can
to you
only
just
text
because-
my 15 friends so many times.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you expand? I have no fucking idea. How do you expand organically and genuinely? Genuinely is probably
Right.
the more important thing. How do I not sacrifice my morals as a boring human being?
I think that people misinterpret, you know, what is like. So I guess to me, again, not being an instrumentalist, I think more about this, but as a show, looking at it more as a performance. So, like, I came from a background, like, I did musical theater, like, when growing up, and I did musical theater a lot in high school. And, like, I look back at that, it's like you had costumes, you had makeup, you had sets, you had all of these different elements that went in to make up this performance, right? Well, as a band, how can you sit there and say, oh, I'll have a great pit, but then there's not going to be anything on the stage that's going to be appealing in any other regard? It's like you're kind of shooting yourself in your own foot without putting the stress and the importance on those other elements, because that's what makes the actual audience, you know, that's how you capture your audience, is by having all of those elements work together, and that's what makes a good show.
I think there's something about, like, when you think about, like, old rock bands, like we brought up some names, you know what I mean? It's like outfits were everything.
Yes.
You know, some like, I mean, James Brown, Jesus Christ. What would James Brown be if James Brown was
I'd
just in
kill for
normal
some of
clothes?
those outfits,
He would
man.
smack the shit out of us if he
Imagine
saw what we
Brad and
wore on stage.
Yeah.
And like jeans
And
and like flannel.
I think there's a way for, I don't think that you need to be necessarily like a James Brown or a Prince or like, you know, or a Madonna or something, some other crazy example of very extreme outfits on stage. But I still think if you're on stage performing, like there are things like, okay, like maybe keep the flip flops off stage. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like you're probably better off not wearing fucking shoes. Or if you're going to don't wear cargo shorts on stage or something weird.
I
where
don't
it's
wear
like,
shoes
I've
ever
definitely
on
worn
stage.
cargo
just
shorts
saying.
on stage.
Yeah. But
Fired.
Like, and it's just
If
like,
you're at a music festival, okay?
Yeah.
Outdoor music festival,
but it's
cargo
like a,
shorts.
It's
are
like
okay
a
on
weird
stage.
thing where it's like balancing who you are as a person, but also like having a professional look. I think that's one of the things that's really missing from like just the overall rock in general is bands that like have like kind of a get up and a matching look. You know, like a lot of people were given that Greta Van Fleet band a lot of shit because they were like Led Zeppelin ripoffs or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, whatever. I don't give a shit. It's just fun to see like young 20 somethings like hamming it up.
I
kinda
like
having-
those
yeah.
dudes. I
Just
have
kinda
nothing against them. They
having,
do
like-
sound like the Led Zeppelin, but I like that.
Yeah, just have
they're
they have
cool.
their little gimmick,
Exactly.
and it's fun. Like
Nothing
I'm
against them.
here for that,
Yep.
and then again back to Slipknot. Like it's a
Yeah.
Like Kiss. Look at fucking Kiss.
Kiss?
I mean,
Like
just they completely on the image. I mean, what Kiss song would you go home and listen to? Hey man, I'm gonna rock out to a Kiss song.
I don't know.
None.
Love Gun's pretty fire, dude.
Yeah.
I've never heard you
Detroit-
listen to that.
probably Detroit
It's
Rock
about his
City.
dick.
Really?
That
Ah.
is your rotation.
But dude, it's so like just having like a cohesive look on stage. So it's a part of the presentation. So the people that are coming to see you, it's like. There's a lot of people, if they're coming out to a show and they're paying money, I feel like they don't want to see themselves on stage. I feel like they want to see like this amplified version of yourself. And why not
Yeah.
have an excuse to wear something a little bit more ridiculous than you normally would? Like I
Yeah.
totally have some button-up shirts that I would never wear in real life, but I'll wear them on stage because like, fuck it. It's a show. Let's get a little goofy. It's fun.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I feel that for sure.
Mock Shao. They say.
The mock shout,
Yep.
for sure.
So do you have any events or anything coming up?
So since we're taking a break, we are not playing another show until Leap Day on February 29th at Club Cafe. We'll be with Stationary Pebbles and Habitat for that one. So our jam band friends.
Super cool.
Yeah.
And you're working on a new album right now. So
Yes. Year of the Rat will be the album title.
2020. Yeah.
We can tell you that.
Are you going to call it Year of the Rat?
It is Year of the Rat, yes.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That
I'll
rules.
sing you a song off it. I'm just kidding.
Go ahead, James.
No.
Well, no, I mean, technically, Carly should sing it and you should beatbox it.
Yeah.
We'll switch places.
No, I can beatbox. I don't need my hands.
kidding.
Beatboxing is kind of more at the mouth, right?
Yeah.
That's a mouth thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I can
Are you
use
good
my
at mouth
hands.
things?
Yeah.
Tight.
Yep. Nah, never mind.
Excellent.
There we go. There.
So before we wrap things up, we hit our hour. So it's time to wrap this motherfucker up. But before we go, let the people know where they can find the Moat Rats on the social media platforms that we've been kind of talking shit on for the past half hour.
Yeah. So you guys can find us on Facebook.com/The Moat Rats, Instagram @The Moat Rats. We just got a Twitter @The Moat Rats, tweet. Don't know how to use it yet, so bear with me. And then we also just launched our website, themoatrats.com.
Simple enough.
And I was gonna say, that you know where to find us, but if you really want to find us, go to these social media outlets, find out where we're playing, and come find us in real life because we're really nice and we would love to meet you if you don't know us and if you want to come hang out, come to a Moat Rat show, whatever. So look on our social media, but really come find us out in public at a show because that would be the best.
And if you don't, we're going to break up.
Yeah.
And that is all, folks. Thanks so much for being here. One more time. James, Brad, Carly, the Moat Rats. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. I had fun. I hope you had
Thanks,
fun
guys.
too. I'll be back again in a couple days with another episode. Same time, same place, same channel. You know the drill. My name is Sykes. Start the beat. 2020, Year of the Rat. Whoop, whoop. Thanks for listening. And we are done. That's it. That's a podcast. You did it. You did
as that.
We did
Yeah.
it. We only talked over each other a whole bunch.
Yeah.
No, you were really, really good.
Was it good?
Oh,
Okay.